Hello, and welcome to Body in Balance. I'm just going to share with you something that I just did for my private health lab group, which you can join, by the way, if you want to. But I thought it was so important I had to share it more publicly. And that is basically one of the most important underlying problems with this whole coronavirus fiasco, as it is now, is that the basic underlying physiological problems are not solved by any of the major things that are being put forwards. Okay, so please, okay, bear with me, and because, well, you'll see, okay? So this is something called levels of organisation, and it's in every single physiology textbook, and every single doctor should know about this, but if you're like me, you forget the basic stuff until it's actually retaught to you. So I'm going to whiz through this, okay, and I'm going to get to something that you can do that is actually going to basically end the pandemic in about 7 days' time if everybody in the country did this and every hospital in the country, in the world, did this as well. And you'll know why in a minute. Okay, so basically, levels of organisation. This is in every physiology textbook. The smallest sort of thing in existence that is useful to most of us are atoms, okay? And so this includes things like iron, copper, sodium, potassium. Some of these things are measured in normal blood chemistry and are kind of very important to our existence, okay? And when some atoms get together, they create molecules. So they start creating things like essential fatty acids. Okay, so things like the omega-3s that people hear about that are really important for our health. They create amino acids, okay, as well, which are basic building blocks of proteins. And when you get lots of molecules together, they create macromolecules. So then you start creating things like phospholipids. And then you start creating proteins. You start creating things like vitamin C, cholesterol, hormones, all the chemicals and things that we basically need to actually work. And then when you start getting macromolecules together, you start creating little bits inside cells called organelles. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, probably the one organelle you really know a lot about is mitochondria. That's the part of the cell that creates energy and is really responsible for, well, helping us fight infections, all sorts of things in some way because it creates the energy we need to actually fight the infections. But then when you get the organelles together, you get cells. Okay, and the cell is the basic, smallest unit of life. Okay, that's where all life begins. We all start as one cell, then it keeps on dividing and it looks after itself. And cells basically need, okay, they need all the nutrients they require. Okay, if you're going to have a healthy cell, they need nutrients, they need to get rid of waste, okay, and they need to be told what to do, basically. That's the three basics. Okay, and then when you get cells together, they create tissues. So you've got muscle tissue, you've got endothelial skin tissue, you've got connective tissue, you've got neural tissue, brain tissue. Then when you get different types of tissue together, you start creating organs, like your liver, your lungs, your heart, your blood vessels, your brain. And then when you have organs, you then start creating organ systems like the cardiovascular system, which seems to be so under attack by coronavirus. And then you have your digestive system, your nervous system, your immune system as well. Kind of important at the moment. And then all these organ systems, they get together and they create an organism, i.e. a human being, a wonderful human being. Now it does go further than that because it actually gets to population and community levels as well, but we're not going to dwell on that today. I want to come right back to cells. And sorry about the colour. In order for your immune system to be healthy, okay, get right to the bullet here. In order for your immune system to be better, to be well, then all the organs in the immune system have to function properly, okay? Otherwise, the immune system is just not going to work. For all the organs to work properly, and what we know from coronavirus is people with pre-existing conditions have problems, okay? Most of us won't even know we've had it. Then we have organs, and then we have tissues because the organs are all made from tissues. And so is it going to be every single tissue in your immune system that's going to be a problem in every single organ? No, it's just going to be some tissue types. Okay, but all the tissues are made of individual cells. And cells just need three things, pretty much. They need all the nutrients they require to work properly. They need to be able to get rid of waste materials. And they basically need to be told what to do, like by a nervous system or us telling them what to do. Literally, we can tell our cells what to do. So here's the thing. We know that most people who are already dying from coronavirus, most people who get it badly, they must have something wrong at the cellular level to create problems in the tissues, to create the problems with the organs, to create the problems with the organ systems that are causing their conditions. But here's the other thing. When we actually look at people who are dying from coronavirus and we actually look at the nutrients that they need for their cells to be healthy, we find that 90% of them are deficient in vitamin D3, which is actually very important for your immune system. And no amount of mask wearing or hand washing or lockdowns or vaccines or drugs, unless that drug is actually vitamin D3, can actually cure a vitamin 3 deficiency. And we know from the Spanish study, when they actually gave intravenous vitamin D3 to coronavirus patients, that everybody survived. Everybody survived. And they decreased the amount of people that were going to ICU. So with drugs, coronavirus, with drugs, 50% of people needed intensive care and people died. When you added vitamin D3, only 2% of people ended up in the ICU and nobody died. And that was just one vitamin. But it was given intravenously in high doses. But we also know that virtually everybody that was tested for vitamin C had not just low levels of vitamin C, but virtually none. So people who are getting coronavirus badly and going on and dying have virtually no vitamin C. Now, can I ask you, how is mask wearing, social distancing, lockdowns, washing hands, drugs, unless that drug is vitamin C, or a vaccine, going to cure a vitamin C deficiency that's at the heart of the cellular problem that's stopping the immune system from working properly, that's allowing people to die from coronavirus? It's not going to happen. Also, we find that the majority of people who are getting coronavirus bad and dying are zinc deficient. Again, same rules. Social distancing, mask wearing, hand washing that they keep on going on about, they keep on holding out for this vaccine, can't cure a zinc deficiency unless you put zinc in the body. Vitamin K2, same thing. Glutathione, same thing. None of the measures that are being put out there by the government are fixing any of the underlying basic biochemical reasons why people are dying from coronavirus. And they're not talking about it. Most of the hospitals aren't actually doing anything about this. They're just giving drugs. They're not actually going, well, you know what, we know that most people are really deficient of all the stuff they need for their immune system to work properly. So we'll give them some drugs to boost their immune system, which we know cannot work because they haven't got the nutrients they need to make their immune system work. Now, here's the vaccine thing as well. We know, okay, from previous, not just coronavirus vaccines, but we know from vaccines in general, okay, that elderly people, those at risk, okay, they have a lowered immune system problem. They have a lowered immunity to begin with. And we know that vaccines don't produce the same immune response in elderly people and people with micronutrient deficiencies. It just doesn't happen in the same way that when you give a vaccine to a healthy person. And what they've done at the moment in Oxford is they've only tested healthy people because they're not giving it to any elderly people, they're not giving it to any pregnant mothers, they're not giving it to anyone with any health conditions whatsoever. They're only giving it to healthy people. And we already know with coronavirus that nearly everybody who hasn't got a health condition isn't even going to know they've got coronavirus because they're going to create a good immune response. And so giving them a vaccine and they create a good immune response, that should be no surprise at all because we know that's going to happen because they haven't got any problems. But what's going to happen when you give a vaccine to someone that you know has got a load of problems and can't create an immune response? The vaccine's just not going to work. It can't work because the vaccine doesn't actually get to the hub of the matter. So, if you are someone who is really scared of coronavirus, and again, if you have got micronutrient deficiencies, you want to be scared of coronavirus because it's going to come after you. If you have underlying health conditions, you want to be scared of coronavirus. But what we know from the studies that have been done is that if you take a multivitamin, you're probably going to massively decrease your chances of getting coronavirus badly. And if you do get to hospital, you want to ask them for a vitamin C injection, and you want to really definitely ask them for a vitamin D injection. Otherwise, they are being absolutely diabolically incompetent and negligent because they're not following the science. So please spread this video, tag people in it, share it with people, comment below, do whatever you want, okay? But please, please share this with doctors, share this with politicians, and take action. Eat more healthily, get outside more, take a multivitamin. But if you are on drugs, please check that the multivitamin isn't actually going to interact with your drugs in a bad way. So talk to your GP, show them the video, get them to actually Google all the vitamins and minerals that are actually linked to severe coronavirus, and get them to actually test you so you can get tested and checked properly. Thank you very much for watching. And if you'd like help, just PM the clinic or call us on 01 707 662 704 and check us out at bodyimbalanceuk.com. Be magnificently healthy.